A river runs through it, the South Saskatchewan. We are in Saskatoon for the Brier. Manitoba's been in a foul mood, and they've been taking it out on the competition. Drive it back, and he's sitting three. 3 wins in a row by Rob Fowler's foursome has catapulted Team Toba into second place. Jim Cotter's BC boys stumbled on the weekend, getting off to a disappointing 1-2 start. Another loss could put Cotter in a dangerous spot, despite being early. Is this already a must-win game for BC? Just another manic Monday at the Brier. Draw 7 is next. The crowds have been terrific through the first 2 days of round-robin play here at Credit Union Center. We had a couple of games this morning to start day 3. And Jamie Cooey from Whitehorse, last night a winner over Ontario, steps on the ice this morning against Scott Manners and treats him rudely. Bangs off a 4 on the way to a win. And now the team from Northwest Territories, Yukon, has 3-1. Meanwhile, Ontario. And sometimes you win despite the way you play. Glenn Howard admits he hasn't been playing very well. Taken to an extra by Quebec. And Howard and the Ontario team are now also 3-1 after an extra end 9-8 win, facing 2 with his last rock. So here we go. On this third day of round-robin play, top of the table, the 2010 Canadian World Champion, Kevin Cooey at 3-0. Nova Scotia, surprise to many. The rookie is 3-1 along with Manitoba. And yes, another surprise, the team from Whitehorse along with Ontario. And if there's a surprise disappointment so far, it would have to be Newfoundland Labrador. Brad Gushue, the Olympic gold medalist, is at 0-3. As on this Monday afternoon, we say hello, Canada, and welcome again to our continuing coverage of the Tim Hortons Brier. Lynn Russ alongside. We saw Manitoba on the opening day, opening draw. They lost to Quebec. Surprisingly to me, anyway, Rob Fowler admits for us that he was nervous, despite all his experience, both at a Brier and in so many big tournaments. But they've gotten it together, haven't they?
Well, that's predictable, I think, for Rob, a young player. First time as a skip of the big crowd like this. I give him a pass game 1. The rest of the team played well, but they're all playing well now. A lot more confidence with this team. I love the exciting style Rob plays. He might have been nervous in game 1, but he's not frightened. He puts rocks in play, and I think that's the exact recipe you need to play this BC team.
So you have to wonder then, all of those rocks, that aggressive play, if that presents a problem for BC and Cotter.
Well, it certainly could. In the first game, BC lost by a lopsided score. Now to Alberta, a very good team, but definitely game 2, they pulled it way back. Very few rocks in play, 4 blank ends. They still lost. Game 3, more balanced, took it to last rock and won, but there's the problem, the execution at second and third. Now Ty Griffith, the rookie, is getting better every game, so maybe he will be better again this game. Kevin Folk has struggled, and you cannot score, you cannot set up ends if your third is missing. That's a problem for Jim today.
There is a snowfall warning in effect for the area, 20 centimeters. If Linda leaves us, it's to clean off the car. Fowler. You can hear Liber now calling line. Drive it back. Oh! BC will pick up the
win. The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Roll Up the Rim to Win. It's time for Tim's. The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association, by M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle, and by Cashmere Bathroom Tissue. Nothing feels like cashmere.
Here are the 4 games on the ice for this Monday afternoon. New Brunswick coming off their win last evening against Nova Scotia. Northern Ontario from Sault Ste. Marie. Can he win 4 in a row? He's going to try. Alberta against PEI. Mike Goody still looking for win number 1. Nova Scotia, they admit, Jamie Murphy, they were nervous last night. They were our TSN featured game against so far winless Newfoundland Labrador. And our featured game is on sheet D. Manitoba, BC. Time to meet the teams now, brought to you by Ford Driveway.
Hi, I'm Rob Fowler, skip from Team Manitoba. Our lead is Derek Samogolski. Our second is Richard Daniel. Our third is Alan Lyburn, and we curl out of the Brandon Curling Club in Brandon, Manitoba.
Hi, I'm Jim Cotter, skip of Team British Columbia. Our lead is Rick Sawatsky, second Tyrell Griffith, third Kevin Polk, and we play out of the Vernon and Kelowna Curling Club in Vernon and Kelowna, British Columbia.
Well, Rob Fowler and the Manitoba team did win the draw to the button for the last rock, the hammer in this open again. They'll play the Reds. So to get us going, as you see, Jim Cotter out. Has the brush down, edge of the 8-foot for his lead to get us underway, Rick Sawatsky.
Should be there. I think that's pretty close.
The one thing for Jim Cotter, he's had Rick with him for a while, and he's a very solid lead. So if you want some rocks in play, Rick can put up the guards, he can make the angle freezes. So the starts of the ends have been pretty good for BC, but the other nice thing is the fact that they can throw this in and see if Rob Fowler's team can get something going with the corner guard game. In some ways, it's not bad to throw first if you want to play it a little open.
Yeah, you get to throw a lot more draws usually than the team with hammer, and wherever that stopped, Rob Fowler was going to throw a corner guard. He's pure offense, 100%. I like it. It's exciting to watch. Got him into trouble game 1 because he had a couple of very tough shots to one chance to get a big end, and it didn't come off, and so his numbers were down a little bit. But this team plays well.
I was just going to say that, Linda. I mean, that stone stops top 4, and he has no hesitation going up, putting up the corner. So what does that say? Does he have no fear? Does he just believe in his team? What is it about Fowler?
Well, certainly he has a long way to go before he has to get into trouble with that rock top 4-foot. For Manitoba, they are aggressive. The only thing that's happened over the first few games is they've had a few too many steals. Eliminate it by ensuring 2 ways in to score. So, Vic, early on you can put up that corner. He has lots of time to make sure he's got ways in. He's got great players all the way through the lineup to open it up if needed.
Yep. Hard. All you got. Hard, hard, hard. Hard. Got to drag it.
I like that analogy, Linda, the 2 ways to score. That's what didn't happen in game 1.
For BC, they've gotten into all kinds of trouble and have relied so much on the game that you shouldn't rely on, and that's the steal game. That's the precious gift in 10 if you need it. But they haven't been able to score multiple points. 1 multiple point with hammer as far as ends go in the first 3 games. You just cannot win games without deuces. So they have to establish the corner guard game. Maybe the simple kind where only put up 1 guard, but something has to get into play.
Take the roll. Take the roll.
And now trying to roll it over and behind their own corner and to the edge of the 8-foot tee line. The game plan brought to you by World Financial Group. Your dreams, our strategies.
Bumper. Okay. You see half of it? Yeah.
Solid draw really walked over here.
Yeah, solid bump here, Ty.
Yeah.
Great start by Derek. Perfect corner guard away from the center line, then rolls almost underneath. Perfect.
So our first look at Ty Griffith, 3-time BC junior champion, who joins the team this year.
Hard! Hard, guys. Whoa, 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 whoa.
And all over the guard. And now the shooter will spill in and pop out in the open, sit for shot rock, back 4.
That's what you call a good missile, Vic. They chose the right weight, nice soft speed on it, managed to crash in the guard and stay in play almost underneath the center guard.
Second Brier for Richard Deneau. Played with Kerry Burtnick back in 2008.
Clean up.
Alan.
Hard
Shot.
But, you know, Linda, you were talking about,
House.
you know, first appearance for Ty Griffith. You're looking for little positives. He is coming along, as you said, slowly. You want to get off to that good start. Does the fact that he, and as you know, Russ said, it was a good miss, takes out the corner, but wouldn't you have preferred all the positives to wrap it around?
Well, it's hard. He's got to be able to make the shots, of course. He's on the good team at the Brier, but you do have misses in a game, and I don't think an opening mistake, albeit the pro side miss, will bother Ty. In his game so far, 69% in the first, then 78%, then 83%. So that's a significant increase every time, and if you make pro side misses and then add to that pretty good numbers overall, you're going to do your team just perfectly well.
Nice bounce back shot there.
He did the team perfectly well right there. Just a nice saw. I love to see that too. Did not overthrown. That's dead buried.
Samagalski and Alan Lyburn on the brush.
Whoa! Watch the shooter. Watch the shooter. I got this one.
Very nice.
Well, a couple of teams right now that seem to have got their weight down, Russ. Eh? Just the way that
exactly.
Controlled weight.
Yeah, the first end, and that's tricky. It's hard to see on television, but there'd be a little bit of pebble there too. They wouldn't practice. Most teams practice trying to draw to the button in both directions. So, being inside the edge of the 8, this is usually a shade slower spot that can curl more. And great guess by Manitoba.
So here's the matchup that's going to really determine the game, in my opinion. You have Kevin Folk, who is struggling down near the bottom of the thirds as far as his overall percentage goes.
Okay, Kev.
And then he's up against Alan Lyburn for Manitoba, who is right near the top.
Well, lots of stories this week, a lot of focus on the folks, and Kevin in particular, and of course his dad Rick, who was the last Saskatchewan champion. Brian, they're in the spotlight, aren't they?
They certainly are, Vic, and you know, he has great memories of Saskatoon. It was back in 1989 in this very building. He made it to the final and did end up losing to Alberta and Pat Ryan. Well, Kevin was all of 8 years old. He was in the building watching his dad, and he says that is the reason why he became a curler. The Folk family still has about 20 relatives in the Saskatoon area, and Rick admitted to me that yesterday when they played Saskatchewan, he was looking back and watching, and he said, wow, I kind of miss those Saskatchewan colors, always proud of this province. And then I asked him, so, who do you cheer for, BC Lions or the Rough Riders? He says, you can admit this on national TV. I still have that Rider pride. I cheer for the Riders, and that'll get him a few fans, I'm sure, in these parts, Vic.
Absolutely. As we watch Kevin, he admitted back there when he was 8 years old, he actually carved into his hair the number 1 into his hair cut that year.
Hard.
So many wonderful stories like that. That 89 Brier, you know, when we talk about Saskatchewan and Scott Manners, he was here with his dad, and it was that he promised his dad one day, I'm going to do everything to get here, and now Manners is here for the first time.
A lot of things came out of the 89 Brier. The free guard zone came out of the 89 Brier. There was so much hitting. The rocks were straights. The ice was straights. And changed the rule for the better.
I talked about Alan Lyburn having better numbers so far. He's the one that rolled out, though, to take away the deuce opportunity for his team.
Shut out. Probably didn't really want to roll it, because it makes his roll easier. Throwing the first one.
Yeah, I should have told you there'd have been enough down there that it was.
Well,
it had already straightened out, eh?
It a little bit there too. Keep throwing.
Great comments there. It's hard to believe on, you know, when you watch it at home, but the pebble, as that pebble wears off, the initial pebble, the rocks will not grab. And even here we are in the first end, 2 or 3 rocks down the same spot that are brushed with these synthetic brushes will wear the tops off the pebble enough that the hits just don't curve like you think they're going to.
Brings up an interesting point between the two skips. I think Jim in the first 3 games has really struggled with his team's execution. I don't think he's had as much trouble reading the ice as you might expect from the fact that they've lost a couple. But I would say Rob Fowler, considering the number of rocks in play and maybe the demands on reading the ice and knowing the ice, has done a great job with it. Probably a little advantage to Rob Fowler so far.
Well, Cotter can't hold the shooter there, and We always say now, if you've got the last rock, it's a 2-on-1 situation. And chance for Manitoba to maybe put some pressure on here.
Even though it's the first hand, this shot's been played over and over in practice already. So I expect Rob to be very close with the speed here. It's just getting the line right.
Yeah, kept going.
Going a little wider than some of the games we've seen outside the edge of the 8.
Yeah, bite the 4 is good. Leave a bit of room.
Okay.
Every once in a while, Rob's release gets away from him, and he gives a little in-out motion. That's what happened when he had a chance for 5 that Russ mentioned.
Should be 7-8. Yeah. Just relax. Heavy.
Okay.
It's heavy.
You have room.
Heavy.
You have
Whoa, then.
room.
Whoa.
Just bite the 4. What's heavy mean?
8.
Oh, it's going to over curl.
Coming down.
Just bite the 4.
On its own, guys.
Yeah, just over curling.
Whoa, Derek.
Not much handle on that either.
And he wanted to just touch the 4 and comes up a little
Weight was
shy.
good. It just curled.
Pops out the other side on the overcurl.
Pretty lazy handle on that one, and that made it make the right hand
Need to go
turn.
middle 12 maybe, eh?
Seems to get a little move early.
Rob has a very
Well,
low
that was
delivery, and
further out,
sometimes
so
I
they
think
might
that
have
overextension on the arm means the turn almost gets away from him. As I mentioned, occasionally that means a flip on a hit. I think occasionally he gets lack of rotation on the draw.
13% lower on the intern side for Rob, especially the hits. Only 58% on that intern hit side, so to keep an eye on that.
Well, that is the fascinating part when you start to look at numbers, because if you start to look at where the guards will be positioned, you have Rob Fowler, who definitely favors the outturn, both draws and hits, and Jim Cotter exactly the opposite.
Yep.
Final stone for BC. Skip Jim Cotter at Vernon and Kelowna. They going to hold this? Oh, no. He crashes all over it. And so it'll be an open draw for 2 for Manitoba here in the first.
Well, we spent the time talking about the second and third for BC, but this end is all Jim. Rolls out, gives the chance for the come around, and then wrecks on the guard on the hit attempt.
Manitoba 27. Canadian Men's Curling Championships, trying to defend the title.
It's a little more, if anything.
Won a year ago by Jeff Stoughton.
Easy.
Weight's good. Back,
No.
it's fine.
On its
Just
own.
Back,
Clean it.
Anywhere in the paint.
back
Over,
forward.
Robbie. That's good.
Ooh, that's a pretty good shot.
So Manitoba picks up a couple, taking advantage of some early BC mistakes. Day 3, round robin here at the Brier. Some early action, other sheets here at the Credit Union Center in Saskatoon. Look at that, yellow stone. Hidden, buried, T-line, edge of the button. That belongs to PEI in Prince Edward Island, of course. Mike Goody from Charlottetown coming in a 4th Brier appearance. And his 3rd skipping, but they've struggled out of the gate here, losing their first 4, playing the so far undefeated Kevin Cooey, the 2010 Canadian and world champion out of the Glencoe Club in Calgary. And it's a huge scrub to try and drag it there for get the pinhole, and not enough. And a maybe shocking steal of 1. PEI early lead against Alberta. Well, this is, to all intents and purposes, we said yesterday, very much a must-win game for Newfoundland Labrador. Off to an 0-3 start, playing Nova Scotia and Jamie Murphy. And Murphy from CFB Halifax lost last night to Terry Odishaw from New Brunswick. And here makes the hit against 3 to pick up the single Nova Scotia with the early lead against the team from the Ballyhaley in St. John. And we just talked about Odishaw winning last night. Off to a good start here. Picks up a deuce against Northern Ontario and Brad Jacobs. So we welcome you back to Saskatoon. Day 3, our coverage of the Tim Hortons Brier. Manitoba. Does it get much easier than that? A couple of missed shots. Failing to hold the shooter, crashing on the guard. You have to put it in the paint, pick up 2, and now here in the second, it's BC that has the last rock playing the Yellowstones.
Well, I think the plan is exactly as expected from Manitoba. Centerline guard come around by BC top 4. Then it was the Manitoba following the rock down, and you just saw the BC rock, the 4th one of the end, land top 8. Now the run back.
Oh, yep, yep, yep. Hard, hard. Okay, good throw. Just curl.
Didn't expect that to curl. Rob relaying the message. It looked like a great throw. Shouldn't be much curl in that spot.
Yep. Linda, we often talk about the skips having to manage their team, and if somebody in the lineup's not playing well, you might call certain things to get them back on track. What does Cotter do for himself?
Well, we talked about the statistics, and he had to play a certain shot with his last one because the draw tucked out the other side. And the dramatic difference between his in-turns and his out-turns is something you're going to have to address with your coach and figure out what it is with your delivery that's not going well. In the middle of a game, Vic, you just have to try and park that and throw the best you can. And as far as trying to skip your game, you're going to try, if you're Jim Cotter, to skip your game so you can throw in-turns. That's the way you're going to approach it. But Manitoba already is trying to do it so that you can't.
Love to see Jim be a little bit more aggressive. In that situation there, they could have gone to the open side, and Manitoba has to make a play in the middle. Even if they get one of them out, there'd be an easy double, and you'd have kind of a deuce going. Now you've kind of grouped them all together, and there's an outside chance at an actual triple here, and there goes the whole end.
Whoa, close. Yep. Whoa, yep. Hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Good shot.
2.
Good.
Manitoba tried the run back to open it up to try and put a position in place where BC might leave a double. So now it's up to BC to do their best to keep the rocks separated. It's a long way to go.
Ty Griffith as we play second stones here in the second.
D-line.
Some teams would actually guard in this position. Back to the number of rocks in play, I really do think, after watching Jim for a number of years, that's his tendency to keep it a little simpler. But in truth, this, the way he's approached these last 2 games and now this one, seems to be based on a little bit of fear with the execution problems.
Could be, eh?
Well, you hear that in other sports too. You play as if you're afraid to lose, rather than play to win. And if you lose, that's the way it goes.
But in this case, he is really managing the team. That was your point, Vic. If you're getting mistakes, you're trying to find the shots that the team will make and the style of play that will actually make you successful. They did find it in the last game, albeit a very difficult game, a close game, but they did manage to squeak it out, and I guess that's what he's trying to emulate here.
Well, here's an opportunity now. Alan Liburn flashes that stone as Cotter just moves out quickly to have a look as if this is biting here.
Actually touches this, Vic.
Oh, yeah, just a bit. You're right. And may have now just moved it off the rings. But, of course, they put the stick to that. They have a 6-foot stick that they put in, and it may be just biting.
Not a good throw there. They were trying to hit 2/3 of that and roll over, and then they changed their mind to hit it, play that thin double. But that risk is there when you have to hit it that thin.
So our number 2 third, Alan Liburn, first end rolls out. This end misses completely. Another dramatic turnaround.
Game of inches, isn't it? If they don't BC sweep as hard as they can to get that top one in, it would have been a wide open hit. Now it's a drop for 3 possibly.
Yep. Hard, 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 hard. Okay.
Double.
double's not there? Well, it is, but this is the problem. If we hit and roll into here, we're pretty good.
Hit roll's good too, right? Huh? If you hit and roll's okay too, right?
Want to try this one?
We're going to try and eliminate.
It's a thin half.
Okay.
Feel weight.
Yep.
Yep.
Hard. Whoa.
Yep. Yes.
Trying to make up for it here, and he'll just hang it maybe on the edge. Certainly looks to be second shot compared to the BC stone at the top edge of the 12-foot.
I'm not sure what's happening. That was supposed to be an inside half, and he got to the outside.
He seemed to have trouble getting the landing gear down on both those shots. A little wobbly and maybe trying to throw too hard, but yeah, and in a pattern, both rocks to the left of where he was aiming. One wide on an out turn, narrow on an in turn.
Right. Clean. Yep. Whoa. 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 Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yes. Sit. Good.
It's not the simplest double. You have to half a rock might go right across the top, so a little bit less than half.
Might even spin it up a bit.
This is one of these shots that anything can happen, obviously, but if Rob hits this in the right spot, he can hit it thin enough. He might go across, make the double, and if he hits it high as opposed to here, he could start rolling over this way and maybe get really lucky.
Could be Vic's favorite shot.
The backup shot.
Round the horn or the backup, those are the ones Vic loves.
I thought you were going to say he could actually back it up and bump the stone to the top edge. Oh, so that's really impressive.
Hard. Hard.
Skip Stone's here in two.
Come on. Hard.
1, 2. Oh, not quite. And then he does back it up and out the side.
Just moved a bit, eh?
Interesting. Both teams now, Russ, surprised by the movement despite the up weight.
Yeah, exactly. And assuming he threw it perfect, it just fooled him. It went a little more than he thought. It's only the second end. You know, there's only been the 2 hits in that side of the sheet. So
Just,
it is a learning curve at this point in time.
T-line? Yeah. Okay.
But if you're BC and you're a team that's struggling a little bit, you cannot ask for more than what you've been given in this end. Another chance to keep the rocks even and prevent a double.
Should be close. There. Easy.
Oh. It's the 3rd Brier for Jim Cotter.
Play back 8.
Right
back 12.
Don't even touch it.
Don't touch it.
This one needs to hit the brakes.
Hard. Go hard. Hard. Good sweep.
Just a bad start for the BC skip.
Okay.
Too smooth, Jimmy. Yeah, I like that shot, Rob.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic. I've played Jim quite a few times, and I found whenever I've played him, he's been a one-man wrecking crew. And you were saying in the BC final, and he made everything.
Kevin struggled in that provincial final, and Jim had a great game.
Checking in on the game between Nova Scotia and Newfoundland Labrador, and you see the red stone back edge of the 4. Another one, T-line 8-foot. Nova Scotia sitting 2. Up 1-0 on Brad Gouju. And the Newfoundland Labrador champions from the Ballyhaley Country Club. This Gouju team, again, rebuilt this year. Ryan Fry has moved from the 2nd spot up. He's holding the brush. Adam Casey has come in from PEI. Jeff Walker has come in from Alberta. And this is a big scrub for them. Huge scrub for them, trying to hold the line for them. Oh, and now he got the little rub and the little roll, and it is close.
Just had to curl a little more. Yellow?
They're going to call for the measurement, and we will let you know as soon as they do. But that is another iffy start there for the gold medal winner from 06.
He's buying his front end lunch after that one. They brushed that right from the get-go.
Hey, Al, just to test the rings.
Talking about the biter, of course, it looks actually a little out from the overhead camera. You see a little white, but I think they're pretty sure that's in, so this would be a hit for 2.
Out.
Lane.
Yep. Hard. Hard.
Oh no! Again, here they go. Griffith and Sawatsky trying to hold it for him.
Hard.
Oh no! Another missed opportunity here. Oh goodness! And big brush at the back, and not enough. And Jim Cotter, 4 stones, 4 mistakes, and now a 3-0 Manitoba lead. Let's update you on scores. And Brad Jacobs, Sioux Curlers Association gets 1 in the second, was looking for the blank, stuck around. 2-1, New Brunswick leads. A blank in 2 means that PEI continues to lead. Kevin Cooey from Calgary. And on that measure, it was 1 for Newfoundland Labrador. That little rub and roll was far enough. Nova Scotia will have the last rock in 3. Jamie Murphy trying to go 4-1. Brad Gushue still trying to look to win his first. What is wrong with BC, and in particular their skip Jim Cotter? Gives up the steal of 1. It is now 3-0 Manitoba, and here it will once again BC having the last rock in the third, playing the Yellowstones.
Wait. Line.
Well, there's something wrong, Vic. Something about his pregame preparation, perhaps. You wouldn't think it was nerves. It's not his first time here, not his first time on the ice this week. And he hasn't been playing that badly so far. Whatever it is, you have to recover. Some people can recover on their own. They have their own mental skills, tools that they use. You saw Jim, as we were showing the other shots, he was standing behind by the scoreboard and mulling it over, I'm sure. The other thing, the team can try and support him and give him different information, get him to refocus at the hack before he throws. They should have practiced that before they got to here, because it's really tough to create those tools in the middle of a competition.
He did say to his team what happened to that one, and he didn't feel he threw it that bad, but it didn't have a ton of weight, and it definitely in the second end, that's a spot there would be some pebble, but had to be a little tight with the combination of not enough weight.
Now, there's a question for you. Over the years, there are games when you go out and, in a cliche, you feel in the zone. Feels like everything you're doing is perfect. You're sliding out on line, it's effortless, and then there's games where you thought it was okay and it wasn't, and truly there was probably something wrong in the technique. Did you fight that, or did you believe that maybe there was something that you were doing wrong and try to fix it?
I found myself, personally, I know what you're getting at, but I found myself, technique wasn't as big a problem as getting the broom in the right spot or knowing that spot. I just, if you gave me a practice shot, if you allowed me to miss the first one, I would be fine the second time. And I'm wondering, he certainly was narrow. He had to be narrow there, but I'm just wondering if he thought it was a straighter spot than he expected. We watched Gushue do it against Glenn, actually. Miss a spot the wrong way really badly, and it once in a while I think they get for that. That's for me. It was just not putting the broom in the right spot.
I think for some players they tend to fight it, and then it's even worse. It snowballs, and you don't ever get to the solution for the problem. So if it is ice, you still have to address it. Well, I was a little inside. What does that mean? What's the new equation to put onto the ice?
Line's good. Line's good.
Speaking of snowballs, there's a lot of snow on the way. There's a snowfall warning in effect, 15 to 20 centimeters in a very mild winter throughout the prairies. And already there's been some worry among the farming community for a lack of water, and so that'll certainly help.
Now, don't forget team roles. I'm going to scrape the car. Fifth hand break, my tea is clear, please.
Okay.
And I'd like a raisin oatmeal cookie.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
All right. I'll do my best.
The warm chocolate chip you gave brought us yesterday was very nice.
I like those. They were nice, weren't they? Richard Dano. I was going to say to you, Russ, you know, earlier you said you'd, in that second, in fact, before the mistakes, you wished that, in fact, BC would play, you know, a little bit more aggressive game, a little more complicated game. Do you now simplify it if you are Cotter, or you still go after him? You just hope you'll shake yourself out of your funk.
I think before the game started, we were saying be a little more aggressive. Now he has no choice. The scoreboard dictates that. But I think at this level, with this type of ice, you can't play simple anymore. It's just so much curl. Teams can force you to tough shots, so you have to take the initiative and force them to tough shots. It's not about waiting for a miss. It's about creating a miss.
Good spot.
But Linda, not every team is built to do what, and I understand what Russ is saying, but not every team is built to do that.
No, I think there is levels of aggressiveness. We both felt that what BC did when they blanked 4 ends in a row, being down 3 on the scoreboard, was not the right approach. Even if I had to take one somewhere in that equation, would have taken the one and then thrown up the 2 guards and tried to steal. So, Vic, there are times when you do have to apply the pressure and you do have to put front stones out. And at this point, Jim is really struggling with when that can happen.
Better throw for Alan Liburn as he peels off the guard.
Now, in looking at that scoreboard, there is no way that they are in a big danger of losing this game this early. The danger is, as we just talked about, not recovering if you're the skip. Somebody has to finish off the end, no matter what the front 3 do. And so far, the front 3 have not been that bad. It's been set up last end. So this end, they have a deuce setting up. Jim has to be able to recover in the hack and make it happen.
Just clean.
Whoa.
Good.
Check, Kev.
So it's his second year here as a skip, his third Brier overall for Jim Cotter. Last year going 4-7. So far this week 1-2, and the percentages are about the same, Linda.
Yeah, very similar, and that's the one comment we made at the beginning this whole event. The other appearance, Jim Cotter threw last and had Bob Ursel skip. Now, of course, today the numbers are terrible. He's missed virtually every shot in the first 2 ends. We wondered about Jim because we have a lot of people that we know. I mentioned David Nedwin, for example, throwing last, Randy Furby skipping. That formula worked so well for them. Their numbers were higher. They looked more comfortable. So I guess we were wondering if Jim this year, after having the experience of skipping and throwing last year, could improve on that record.
Fine, right? Yeah.
So far, it's not happening. Still, the deuce is set up. Team continuing to put the rocks in the right place.
Probably no extra, guys. Yep.
Nice brushing technique. Close position, front arm down.
Spot.
Check, Kev.
He might be able to bounce it across there.
Sweep, guys. Sorry?
I thought that'd go further than that then.
Probably a little fresh coming in.
Yeah.
Gives him the chance to roll back away and get some level. So
Thanks.
roll in. Nice way.
That's the new buzzword, huh? Fresh. The pebble a little fresh.
Yeah. Just a little extra pebble. They haven't run the rocks over yet, so that's slowed down a wee bit more. These athletes are so precise. They wanted that 2 feet farther.
We don't knows it's there. It's not quite there yet, I don't think.
Okay. Rob would roll here. He wants to hit it dead on, then he will have a double with his next one.
His comment to his third was, if I roll to the middle, it would allow them to roll back and get more separation. So he has a plan.
Easy. Yep. Whoa.
Whoa, guys.
Clean.
Good.
Shot, Robbie. shot. Good shot.
So this delivery will tell us a lot. If you're struggling, one of the things that happens is you get a little tense. You start to aim the rock instead of throw it. And you can really tell from the delivery if it looks like it's somebody who has parked those negatives and gone on to make a good throw.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I find a lot of the teaching I've done lately, people are trying too hard to hit the broom instead of trying to make the shot. You know, if you have a little bit of a soft release, as we saw with Jim's intern, I'm not sure he does. He just did it the last time. Just take a little more ice.
Out. Clean.
That one looks smooth.
Clean it. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Oh, whoa. Yeah. Yeah.
To sit two.
Pumped his fist.
So
that was a nice recovery.
Here you go. How was it? You betcha. Finally made one. And a smile, too.
That's just great.
Jim Cotter.
One of the really good people. You feel for someone who is struggling.
Finished nice.
Yeah, I tried to get him on at one point, but...
that was me.
Sorry?
Look the way out there. It's curling up nice.
Yeah. Better to be safe, right?
Yeah, I've seen so many runs straight out there earlier. It's curling better today.
Make sure the one first.
Well, New Brunswick and Terry Odishaw, in just his second Brier appearance at a Curl Moncton, has looked impressive yesterday. Comes up with a big win over Nova Scotia after dropping his first three. And over and got them both. And there's the hit for two New Brunswick to take a 4-1 lead on the team from Sault Ste. Marie.
Why is he talking to me? Why is he talking to me?
When you said Rob had a plan, he didn't bother rolling with his first because he knew he'd have a chance with the second one. No mistake, he actually sticks it.
Maybe they spring forward a little bit off the
I noticed that a couple times.
Looked like it was drawn on your telestrator and just followed the line.
They do.
And with that little biter on the edge, this is a draw against two.
And that stings for BC. That really does, because the nightmare last end, and you have a low risk deuce here, and not only can you not score two, you can't blank.
Well, one of the last things that Jim Cotter said to Kevin Folk, his third, was curling up nice. And now he needs a piece of the 8-foot as he draws against a couple out on the outer edges. So after a rough start for British Columbia, they're on the board with a draw for a single. Let's get you caught up now on other games here on this Monday afternoon, day 3 of round robin play, the Tim Hortons Brier. And we'll start with the champion, Canadian champion, and world champion of 2010. Now curling out of Calgary in the Glencoe Club, and Kevin Cooey. Prince Edward Island stole one in the first. They blanked the second. Carter Rykoff, Nolan Thiessen on the brush. And there's the shot stone there, top 8. And the draw, that's for 2, and a 2-1 lead as they go to 4 against Mike Goody and the PEI champions from Charlottetown. Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Labrador, as they play in a 1-1 tie in the third. Coming off a loss last night, Jamie Murphy, the Blue Nosers, one of those really nice stories to start. One of the rookie teams, along with Saskatchewan and Scott Manners, and out of the CFB Halifax, playing Brad Gushue out of Ballyhaley, Newfoundland, Labrador. Oh, he got to sneak it by that. Oh, he sneaks it by his own, pushes it back, scores 2. Nova Scotia looking to rebound, possibly go to 4-1, and they lead 3-1. You won't miss a thing, of course, with Canada's most comprehensive curling coverage. Our featured game on this Monday afternoon, Manitoba, BC. Wonderful double by Manitoba's Rob Fowler. Got himself out of trouble, forced the draw for one, made by BC and Jim Cotter. So they're on the board. And here in 4, it is Manitoba and the champions from the Brandon Curling Club who will have the last rock playing the Red Stones.
Well, that last game was a tough blow for Jim Cotter. After missing your first 4 shots, finally you come through with a nice hit, and it's all taken away. Maybe not a bad thing in some ways. In my opinion, the end, the game when they blanked 4 ends was a mistake. They shouldn't have kept it so open. So here they were forced to put up the center guard. Manitoba drew around it very nicely. There was a come around again by BC. Then the Manitoba Rock. So we have the 3 in behind cover. That 1 centerline guard belonging to BC.
Yeah, room right now. Line's real good. Room.
Like to go a bit.
Room right now.
As soon as we can.
Whoa. Yep. Hard.
Good shot.
Yeah, pretty close. At least 2 of them.
It's going to split to get there. Good.
91.
Want to do it that way?
You don't like running it that way?
I don't really like that.
Well, I should get the back yellow, no?
You could go this way.
That's the right call there. That would be awesome.
3/4. Yeah. Roll your shooter there.
Could set up a corner guard, and you might get every yellow moving.
You have to remember that Rob is skipping the first time in a Brier. I like the way the team does work together. It's not that they demand the shot, but they do offer it.
There's a missy earlier, Nero.
Wow.
Did I say I like that call?
You like the call, maybe not the throw. They're getting caught with some curl here.
That's 2 in that spot that really moved. You know, it might have been helped, self-inflicted, but to keep an eye on it. They did yell right away, so you had to be narrow.
Now don't forget, when you're reading ice, you're looking at 2 turns. So if you find a turn that swings off center line, you can always play the other turn. Often that is the straight one.
Okay, house hit.
Okay.
That's a term, house hit, referring to what?
That's just their signal for throwing like a down normal, like a not quite normal weight.
I think a lot of Rob's terms do come from playing with Jeff Stoughton. I hear the term nice sometimes. That's a Stoughton term for takeouts. Whatever it is, it still relates to a speed hog to hog.
There's a spot.
Yep. Nicer, wow.
They can't figure that one out.
Get that going there.
Really, that's right through mine. Let's see what happened to it. Goes a mile.
That's when Jimmy flashed the wide open hit too. You see that a lot. It's a lot like in the golf. You'll watch the announcers on the 16th hole, and he can tell what the putt's going to do better than the athlete because he's been there all day.
Hard! Real hard! Hard, guys!
Richard Deneau.
Still got it! Whoa! Whoa. Good, attaboy.
Linda Russ, who we want to wish our very best to longtime friend Neil Harrison, the Canadian world champion back in the early 80s with Eddie Wernick.
That's really good, actually.
Paul Savage, John Kawaja. Understand he's been ill recently and is recovering nicely, and we just want to wish him well, to him and his family all the very best, Neil, from all of us. Of course, we saw him at coaching the Canadian team at the Continental Cup. So a speedy recovery, Neil, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
One of the greatest leads that ever played. I had the pleasure, Glenn and I played 2 years just after I moved with Neil. He just finished with Eddie, and what a great team player. Great guy.
And a terrific understanding of ice and stones on that team. They could teach us a lot.
Should be lots of room, eh? Yeah. Peel.
Rob's still looking at ways to move the rocks around, set up a deuce. He has the one in a pretty nice spot.
Yeah! Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Big weight.
Get up there. Okay. Sorry, Jim. Okay.
It's fine now.
I thought I was going to curl more.
Yeah, it's pretty straight when we lift
It's
up
not
the
bad.
weight.
It's not bad.
It's not going to
yeah.
curl a lot with that weight. That's one thing.
You think you're slut? You bang that yellow hard on the nose.
Manitoba does have the last rock here in this fourth, and so Kevin Folk is on his way down.
Well, we got the out-turn draw. We could probably just about nose that and make the double.
Yeah.
Well,
we
we might
miss-
not get rid of that one, actually.
If we miss that, does it stay on enough to...
Yeah, that's probably the better call, is to miss that one and sit there.
And if it just tickles,
that's what
it's
I'm
probably
thinking.
fine, right?
Yeah. Like that?
You missed it on this side, right?
Yeah.
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 Get that and roll
yeah, if we
there.
just tickle it, it probably stays there. If we just...
If we hit
Nose
the
might
cross
get it
side
done,
of
but you want to err on that side.
Yeah. What
Like
turn are you
that.
thinking?
I'm thinking the out-turn.
Okay. What kind of weights?
Regular?
Like house?
Okay.
Were you thinking more? You like reg?
This
Might roll
does
too
happen
far.
too when you have a skip who is
fine,
struggling.
Rick.
Sometimes he goes a little more to the team to give input. And I think that is
Same
what
weight
is
then?
happening here.
Yeah, that was probably reg.
That was ragged for a little less.
Trying to run that yellow onto the red so you can see the angle that will allow the shooter to roll across the rings a little bit. They'd love to save the shooter. Now, if it's swinging on the in-turn here, this could track a little bit.
Whoa. Whoa. No. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
All right, Kev.
Just enough curl.
Spin.
Well, that was my point, that I would be playing that turn because I think that's the predictable one. It may be a little straight, but the other one is really hard to catch the curl.
Just didn't want to finish up that last little bit, eh?
Go there.
BC first and second shot. Rob Fowler lining
You want
up
to go
the
there?
double.
Make sure we save it.
Just easy, he says now.
Go solid, nice.
We could have a whole dictionary, a whole encyclopedia perhaps of takeout turns.
It's true.
Solid nice this time.
Hard. Hard.
Alan would like to say barrier.
Yes, he would.
Whoa,
Former
whoa,
Scottish
whoa. Garrett, click this one. Click
junior
this one.
champion.
Good. It's fine.
But it's that BC Stone sitting back edge of the button that is shot rock as BC looks to possibly steal back the point they gave up in the second.
Alan's just a hair off today with those hits, and it's
do
a
that
pattern,
and
Linda.
makes
The
one of the
in-turns
runs.
tight and the out-turns wide. It's like he's going a little to the right of his body
The in
somehow.
off here. It's thin though.
Sorry?
It's got the in off here, but it's thin. Could put one here.
We can bring it in even real nice and tight, can't we?
Probably, yeah.
Kind of split the middle of those. Because this one we only really need to take away, go to like a third, right?
Yeah.
If we come in tight, then it's probably our better avenue.
Can't really hit either or.
No.
I'm thinking you got
We
to
can come in
cover
kind of
that
nice
one.
and tight, take away about a quarter to a third of that,
Yeah.
and majority of that rock. Like that?
Yep. You like it?
So like a three, tight three?
They might like it, but I think Rob Fowler might like it. He made a double just as similar to that last end, and they're kind of forcing Robbie into playing that.
Trying to take away both a little bit.
This is the decision time. BC has recognized the double is there. Well, I guess they're willing to take on the risk after all the things that have gone wrong to Jim so far. Maybe he thinks it's time for a turnaround.
Line's more important than anything.
Yeah.
It's a tough double, but it's Robbie Fowler's made harder.
You think this side's the same for draw?
What's that?
Think this side of the sheet's the same for draw?
Yeah.
Be similar.
Like a 3 will get you tight.
high 90s kind of thing.
Well, New Brunswick continues to put on a lot of pressure on Northern Ontario, and Brad Jacobs out of the Sioux Curlers Association, as he's got to draw at least a piece of the button. It looked quickly there that against two. Terry Odeshaw from Curl Moncton. Scott Seabrook on the right. Ryan Harnden, EJ Harnden is calling line.
Halfway tight. Line's good. Right here.
Oh, he'll crash out in front and won't get there. Steal two more, New Brunswick. Terry Odeshaw, who was an alternate for you a couple of times at the Brier, looking very good here as he tries to win back-to-back.
Yeah, 1-3 record, Vic, but he lost 3 close games to 3, certainly contenders, top teams. So he's looking better than his record right now.
Throw a bumper.
So that choice of playing a guard, they took on the risk. Unfortunately for BC, it didn't land in the spot they wanted, and that redstone is available.
Yard to miss it high. And the other shot you could play is this, just make the double.
If you miss that, what is he? I guess
He's going to go out, turn around, then I'll have a tap for one.
Still, it's not.
You make the double.
Of this, if you miss this and you roll here,
you probably got to
double.
Playing this shot. You probably got to. There's more risk of giving up a steal of 2 than there is playing this shot.
So looking at the double,
based on the scoreboard,
you feel more.
Based on the scoreboard, that's probably the shot then, right? Let's just make it.
What are you thinking now?
Well, it's Rob's call.
Let's make this. I'm
there's
thinking
the angle on the
right?
double.
What do you think?
The problem for BC is even
outturn.
No matter what happens, that redstone being available is another problem for them. It can be used on Rob's last.
If I throw a positive, it should go straight down the sheet.
You see the Rob's throwing out turn here with 0 ice. So this doesn't curve an inch. He virtually makes it.
Well, he made a lovely double with his last one in the third, the last end, to force BC to take the single.
It's an awkward one. It's very thin.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Well, Fowler in his first. Now they pick him up. Just a little touch. And there you go, and he backs it up.
Good call. Good call.
That was the danger.
Should have been
it
a
was
little more
obviously
patient.
a tough shot, but now the Cotter Yellow Rock's really hurting him a little bit.
Well, and I said it's sort of a double whammy. This is a tough angle, played beautifully by Rob, and part of his plan was, even if I make this, BC can maybe play a come around, but that redstone top 8 shot rock at the moment is usable to angle back onto something in behind it. So Rob had it coming both ways. Remember what we talked about? Leave yourself 2 ways to get at the score if you have the hammer, and he's doing just that.
Yeah, Jim could make the best shot of his life here and still potentially give up 4.
That's why you might see this one come a little deeper. Try to look at the angle of the shot stone and see where you can put a rock that makes it a little harder.
Yeah, maybe back 8 almost, and might take away that angle on that red you talked about.
Final stone for BC and Jim Cotter.
Line's good.
Should be there.
Got room.
Need to finish it.
You hear Kevin Folk calling line.
Line will be good.
Ty Griffith, Rick Sawatsky on the brush.
Switch.
And his side's a hair straighter.
Finish it.
There it goes.
Boy, they don't even flirt with the red guard, and now it'll bust, and it'll sit back edge of the 4. 4 shot stone for the moment.
More in practice.
Sorry?
A little more in practice.
A little more curl in practice, is what he was thinking.
It's pretty much dead, Barry.
Oh, you're right, Russ. It has straightened up a little bit.
Yeah, this side, it's almost like the sheet's tilted towards our left a little bit, where that out turn that was just thrown is not curling as much as the in turn. We've seen a lot of in turns over curl.
He missed the
I think
guard.
you could still make it.
Throw hack and chip it or straight
I
back?
said Hot. I like hot.
Yeah.
Guard by quite
It's
a bit.
dead buried.
Guard by quite a bit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
You can see a piece though, right?
a little bit.
I'd say a sliver, and I think that was Rob's question.
You know, sometimes when we look at it, to be quite fair, the camera doesn't tell the story. It just, we look at it and go, stone's wide open, but at ice level, it's just not.
Plus the amount of curl, and this is a straighter spot than we've seen in most areas. If this was that much open on the intern side, it'd be a much easier shot.
Quite a bit, right?
Well, yeah, but I got to throw more weight, so it's going to ride for a while.
Yeah. You just have to push it 3 feet, right?
Yeah. So what do you think? Back line? Is that what you guys think?
I think back line, and if
to
line's
high.
good, we'll sweep. Like back line, we'll
I
sweep
like
it a bit.
line. We could sweep it to
Yeah.
push it out.
I like it, Robbie.
To score the way it is, too, I'd be very tempted to play like a T-line weight here, score my 1. If the brushers, the line's good, if they can brush it back and you get 2 or 3, great. The harder you go for the 4-ender here, the harder this shot becomes. Start throwing some weight to move that yellow right out of the rings. There's not going to be much curl. There's a great angle there.
Well, there you go. From the other view, it looked as if the yellow was maybe half a stone, 3/4 of a stone out. But you can tell from here, it looks 3/4 buried.
And look at the path back to the hack, the way he's throwing. Obviously, you could use the red stone that is guarding the yellow and run it back and pick it out even and get your 3.
And I thought they'd use the one we talked about all along, the one at the top of the 8-foot at the 1 o'clock position. You can angle that in. You might lose a couple reds, but keys to score with a 2-point lead here.
For back line now.
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah.
Let's remember let's use the sweepers to take it out too, eh?
So for the moment, BC is sitting 1 back edge of the 4. Trying to push this far enough to bring the other stones in play. Possible 4 on the board for Manitoba, but nothing at all from Semagalski or Deneau.
Never.
Liburn calling them right off, looking now just for a little chip to move it, and not far enough. It hung out there. It never came back. And BC is going to steal 1 here in 4.
It's a little full on, yeah?
On sheet C, meanwhile, look what's happening here. Newfoundland and Labrador and Brad Gushue, who has dropped his first 3 games playing Nova Scotia, and Jamie Murphy of Halifax. He said he's been close, just not getting the breaks. And here with this, bang. He moved that red stone enough, and there they are. 1, 2, 3, and 4 for Newfoundland and Labrador. Checking in on Alberta and Prince Edward Island as they play in the 4th. And PEI and Mike Goody of the Charlottetown still looking for a first win. Making a 4th Brier appearance, playing Alberta. And Kevin Cooey out of the Glencoe in Calgary, and in all kinds of deep here against the 2010 Canadian and world champion. At one point, Russ, you said you thought he was, well, there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You said, no sooner was I thinking it, and I see it. And he needed to draw a good portion of the white, comes up light, and that's a steal of 2. And Alberta now leads it 4-1. Mike came in with a terrible cold earlier this week, but feeling a little better. I saw him on the way here. Well, BC's got to be feeling a little bit better, too, because they've come back, at least gotten back the steal point that they gave up in 2. And so here as we go to the 5th, Manitoba and Rob Fowler, that led 3-0, is now down to just a 1-point game, 3-2. And once again, Manitoba will have the last stone. They have the hammer, playing the Red Rocks.
Well, I feel like in 4 ends, we've seen an example of what sometimes happens in a whole week at the Brier. We've seen mistakes, we've seen a player struggle, we've seen him then recover. Then we saw Manitoba looking at the potential for a bundle, and maybe the mental skills didn't kick in, and maybe a choice made that wasn't the best. So we've seen everything in 4 ends of play.
And Jim Cotter to park it and make that game-saving shot, really. If he doesn't sink that one in a straight spot, too, it's hard to bury there and force a mistake out of Robbie. That game's over.
Line's good.
Line's good.
Line's good. Just hard, clean. Clean it for line. Clean it. Just stay down, Derek. Hard, clean. Hard, clean. It's
coming. Go.
Line's good.
Okay, whoa.
Hard, clean. Whoa. Good. Good judging, guys.
Nice start for Manitoba. 3-2 Reds in dangerous positions and a nice guard.
Yellowstone at the back of the house is a problem, and how many times do we say that? You have to think range, you have to think pro side.
Yep. Real close. Hard, guys, hard.
Very nice.
Attaboy.
Half buried. Full 8.
Weight should be good.
Looks
4, 5.
Looks heavy.
6, 5. Clean.
Whoa.
It's gonna over curl. 4. Gotta go.
Clean. Go ahead then. Yep.
Hard. Come on for weight too. Come on.
End again. Tough luck, Rich.
Picked.
Just picked.
Well, Hockey Canada has a major news conference planned for 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll be able to watch it on TSN2 and TSN.ca. They're scheduled and expected to announce their executive for Canada's men's national team for the 2014 Olympic Winter Games in Sochi. And the report on TSN.ca is that it will be Steve Yzerman. Now, up until this point, Russ, I haven't heard any agreement between the NHL and organizers to take NHL players, so maybe this is an indication that there may be an agreement in the offing for the NHL to participate in Sochi.
Boy, that'd be great news for the Olympics.
And of course, you'll be able to watch that on TSN2 and online at tsn.ca at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yep. Still pouncing a bit.
Good shot.
Freeze it off.
Another turnaround with the Manitoba stone coming up light. The intended target was top 8 foot. Gave BC a chance to play down 2-shot stone, and they do. It's slightly over curling the spot they wanted.
Whoa, it's heavy.
8, 7.
Heavy.
7. Whoa, guys. Whoa. We need a 5.
7. 8.
Get ready.
8.
Get ready. Whoa.
You need something. It's 8,
Yeah,
9.
I'm hoping to get this one. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Okay.
A surprise winner? Well, some people will think that. Rob Fowler out of Manitoba as he beats his former skipper Jeff Stoughton in the 1-2 page playoff, and then beat Mike McEwen, the leading money winner on the tour this year. And for Mike McEwen, hard luck Mike. That's 3 straight years that McEwen loses the Manitoba final. But there is news out of Winnipeg today, Linda Russ, that Jeff Stoughton, that was to his mind a disappointing year, is going to shake things up. And the report out of Winnipeg is that Stoughton has dropped his longtime lead, Steve Gould, the Tick Man, as he became known, who was with him for 2 Canadian and 2 World Championships last year and, of course, in '96. So as Stoughton looks for one last kick at a possible Olympic berth, he's going to retool his team. Steve Gould is out as lead for Jeff Stoughton.
That had to be a tough decision for Jeff. Steve, a great friend, great guy, great player, and as you say, invented the tick. And I'm sure Stevie will bounce back with a different team if he chooses to. That's the problem now. The commitment with the Olympic runs, you really have to commit full time for 3 years, basically, and not everybody can do that.
Keep going, keep going. Whoa.
Right back.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, as much as the game at the elite level, Linda, has become business, there are friendships. And sometimes even those friendships, you have to put those aside. It's difficult because it used to be the 4 guys getting together and you'd run and go, and now I'm looking here, and you look at the way teams are built, and you look what, for example, Brad Gushue has had to do, and you look at, well, Kevin Martin, for example, how he's rebuilt his team. The Olympics has added a brand new dynamic to the construction of curling teams.
It has, although over the years, if you had a goal to be your best, whether it's to win a world championship or play in a Brier, for example, it still took a huge commitment, and 4 players had to agree on what that year would entail. If it was a huge commitment, financial and time-wise, you all had to agree. And there were lots of times over the years that there would be somebody out of sync with those goals, and it didn't work. So we've seen those, but the big thing, Vic, is if there's friends involved, it's a very tough decision.
Hard. 3, 4. Hard, guys, hard! Hard! You got it. Hard.
So far, Alan Lyburn giving some chances to BC. Another big mistake there, not getting by. And look at the curl in that spot. Away from the stands towards sheet C. We've said that curl is huge.
Yeah, it seems to be curling away from the stands today for whatever reason more than the other way. Might see Rob come off his own here, because if he doesn't, BC
Yeah, I
certainly
don't
will.
really want to go and leave my shooter there.
Well,
it's almost open.
That's really thin to do that.
Like nice weight.
You're really going to come right into here.
Yeah.
I just don't want to throw it over.
Not going to overthrow it. Nice weight. It's inside 2/3 is
Great
good.
angle there. Rob's trying to
Hold
hit
the center
and roll,
line.
hide this one. Try to sit 2. Can't overthrow it, hit it really thin and take out his own red one on the button. That would be a disaster. So just a little softer weight required
Hold the
here.
center line, guys.
Kind of weight.
It's nice weight.
Nice being barrier, hack, board.
You should move at the end, so you're ready.
Rob Fowler.
Whoa, guys, whoa. Still going.
He is first, and Manitoba does have the last rock here in 5.
Hard!
He rolled over, and he just pushes his own too far.
Not touch, I think, or
Shot rock, though, is Manitoba. Second shot is top 4 yellow. That's BC.
Don't mind that.
Newfoundland Labrador coming off a 4 spot. In the 4th is sitting 2, and that's what's facing Nova Scotia. And skip Jamie Murphy from CFB Halifax.
Come on, guys.
Right on the handle almost.
Ask for help. You need it. All right, guys. Jordan.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Needs a piece of the white. Needs to bite the 8. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
A steal of 2. Newfoundland and Labrador, and we're seeing all kinds of odd mistakes
Out of there too, if you want.
on all the sheets here as the ice maybe becomes a little less predictable.
Well, Rob shot, overrolled, pushed the red one out. So now decision time for BC, and they've decided to go after the big shot. The angle raised their own rock into the yellow one, onto the red. And nice, according to my stopwatch, was between 10 and 10.5 seconds on that hit for Rob Fowler. It looked like that was the speed he wanted.
I love this call. If Jimmy can stick this, there's 5 yellow in there with only 2 red, and the 2 red are there's a double possibility with Jim's last one.
Whoa.
Final stone for BC, and Jim Cotter. Angle it back, going to touch it. Oh, he got it.
Great shot.
He got it. To sit shot stone, top 4, center line. Hard to believe it's the same guy that missed his first 4 shots.
Thanks. Figured we had it at the end. But
Well, that is full credit to him and the team for turning it around. Nice shot, good angle. Had to wait a long time for it to move. Didn't touch it, and just enough of the yellow. So with that one,
Straight
now
T-line
if you're
draw.
Rob Fowler, you're starting to feel like it's a bit scrambly. Alan Liburn is not making the shots for you.
Yeah, he struggled a bit, hasn't he?
Should be all right.
65% so far.
We played this far out.
Sorry, Rich?
Have we played this far out? I think we have, eh?
Yeah, pretty close. 3 should be pretty close.
Alive early.
Good news, it's only against 1. The Rob's double opportunity banged it a little too far, but it hung on for a second shot at the back.
Line's good, guys.
Final stone
right
here
on the
in
T-line.
7, I think. Wait on it if you can.
Line's good, right on the
Wait
tee.
on it, guys. Wait on it. Got a
Derek
curl.
Samagalski
Line's good, right on the
on the
T-line.
left. Richard Deneau on the right.
Whoa. Whoa.
Needs to hook. Needs to hook. Maybe he'll get a bounce off his own. And not enough. And so BC has come all the way back after trailing 3-0 after 2. They've stolen the last 2 ends. We'll go to the break in a 3-3 tie.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by World Financial Group. Proud to be a sponsor of the Season of Champions. Your dreams, our strategies.
Tale of really 2 halves, isn't it? The first, second ends all belonging to Manitoba, and then 1 and 2 straight steals, and BC has come back now to tie 3-3, and it was a really nice final shot for BC's skip Jim Cotter. Thinking back to those first 2 ends when he missed his first 4 stones, was curling just 13%. And then you come up with a shot like this, angle it back, and then, of course, Manitoba couldn't make the draw. Jim Cotter is with Brian.
Jim, I know that was not the start you wanted to this game, but you found some momentum. I want to ask you first off about the draw in 4 and how big that was, because he could have scored 4 against you.
Yeah, definitely it was big. We had to get one in there. It was pretty much ball game. You know, the guys have played well all game. I struggled the first couple ends and just keep the momentum going.
And that shot in 5, you end up stealing again. Your thoughts on that one and how that played out?
Yeah, no, we figured if we caught about a third of it or a quarter, we had a little bit of leeway there. So we hit it right where we wanted to and managed to pull out the steal.
And finally, just thoughts on the guys, the performance you guys feel you're getting where you have to be to get in a run to make the Final Four here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? We're getting better each game. You know, like I said, I struggled the first couple ends, but the guys have been playing great. And, you know what? I just see what we can do here.
Thanks for your time, Jim. Good luck.
Right, thanks, Brian.
Do the numbers, Linda, reflect the comeback?
Well, they do in a way, Vic. You talked about it being Manic Monday. Good heavens, as far as the drama in the first 5, it has been. Alan Liburn came in one of the top thirds. He is being outcurled by Kevin Folk, who had been struggling. It is lower numbers on the hit percentage for BC. That's Jim Cotter, who came out some very nice games and has struggled. But you know what? BC relying on the steals. I said they can't do it. They can't continue to do that. Now they're back in the game.
The numbers after 5 are brought to you by Tim Hortons. It is time for Tim's on this Monday. Happy birthday to Rick Folk, 2-time Canadian, 2-time world champion.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association. By Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage, the Tim Hortons Brier from the Credit Union Center here in Saskatoon. And British Columbia has turned it around, haven't they? They get a single in 3, steal in 4, steal in 5, and so here we are. Play underway in the 6th of a 3-3 tie as Manitoba looking to go to 4-1 while BC comes in at 1-2. And it is the team from Brandon that does have the last rock. They have the Hammer playing the Redstones.
Well, if we talk about momentum, there's no question which team has it. It started with Manitoba. It's flipped over to BC. And with the BC guard going out in front and the one in behind, the Redstones are not positioned that well for Manitoba.
Solid house.
It's interesting when we looked across after the 5th end break, the other 3 sheets on all 3 cases, guards slipped into the rings, and we see that so often. BC was able to keep theirs out in front, not able to make the double there.
He was never getting there.
Sorry?
He was never getting to the inside roll.
Quarter.
Quarter up.
Bad news with missing the doubles. It sets up a double. Should be enough room by that center guard here. You know it's fairly straight here.
Firm. Yep. 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 Whoa, whoa. Yep. Yes. Hard.
Ooh.
Good enough. Just broke from the last little bit.
They're definitely being fooled by the curl.
Hack weight, guys. How much? Hack weight.
Good hack.
Line's
Clean.
good. Line's good. Clean.
Whoa.
Oh, clean. Oh, oh, oh. Let it work.
Yep. Clean, clean.
Good cap or tie.
Staying over as soon as I said yep and made a big turn.
Might be enough room here to roll at least partially buried.
Bump.
Oh.
Whoa.
Clean.
Up there.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Roll it that way.
Well, no,
Richard
it's
Deneau.
heavy, eh?
Ooh, want to hang around here.
And he'll catch just a corner and enough to push it out the back. Is it that straight right now there?
I think it's 2 things. He overthrew that to start with. A lot of weight, a lot of rotation, but I think it is straighter on that turn. Not overall everywhere in the sheet, Vic. I think the other turn you'd get a bit of movement, but not much curl here. This rock isn't, they're going around a rock that's not quite on the center line, but taking the edge of the 4. So. And Jim Cotter made what beauty here in the 4th end, and it barely curled enough.
It's close, 6.
So why not go with the other turn?
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
The only thing is, if you go with the straighter turn with the draw, if you can tuck it mostly behind cover, then the other team is trying to get at it with the straight turn by adding some weight. It makes it a little harder for them. That's sometimes why you approach it that way, Vic.
There goes at the end. It kind of smudged into the ooh, a favorable turn there at the end.
Top button.
So slips behind the tee line. Center line back 4. So a chance now for Manitoba to come down and try to sit in front of it.
One thing that's important, we often see ice change. Stones tend to smooth out, maybe react a little differently. What you have to do in the case of the thrower of the hack is you have to give a consistent release so the skip can read the spot. I think we've seen an over curl, which was probably a release that wasn't quite right. We've seen a straight one, which was probably a little in out. The ones that curve at the end are probably the clean release. You have to try and execute it that way.
It's heavy, eh?
Yeah.
Well, New Brunswick is sitting 5 and up 7-1 on Northern Ontario, and the team from Sioux Curlers Association, skipped by Brad Jacobs, has already made a lineup change on the left. That's Joe Scharf. He's come off the bench. Scharf has been here before. He played with Al Hackner back in 2001. He replaces Scott Seabrook throwing lead stones. Facing 5, Jacobs. And he will get his single to keep himself in it. Now down by 5 against Terry Odishaw from Moncton.
We can wait. Lean it.
Line's good.
It's good. Lean it.
Line's real good.
The other part of the equation I was going on about release, and the last one was heavy.
Yeah, Allen's struggling a little bit tonight.
Yep.
Manitoba's been in some good situation. Allen just hasn't been able to finish it off, and that's a bad mistake. Allows BC to sink a second one. Now you're running back the wrong color.
Yeah, and that was a great throw when you see where it lands top 4 and with some finish to be buried.
Stay hair high. Heel. Yep.
Manitoba third, Allen Liburn. Roll it there. And he'll drive it by everything. Allen, of course, and his brother William, who is the 5th for the Manitoba champions, are former Scottish junior champions going back to 1992. And also this week in Östersund, Sweden, the World Junior Championships are on. And the Canadian women have picked up a win over Italy, 11-3. That's Jocelyn Peterman and her team from Red Deer. And then they also beat the U.S., so they go to 4-1. But look at that Scotland. Scotland and the team of Kyle Smith handing Canada and Brendan Botcher of Edmonton, the Saville Centre, their first loss. They are now 3-1.
Right there. Line's pretty good.
A little short of that, Kev.
Just half. Yep.
Get it to the line, guys.
Yep.
We talked about the challenge of coming around the guard. It's also challenging to put the guard back, trying to judge the line.
Go. Hard. Good.
Nicely done.
Good. Shot.
Spot. Good speed.
06, Jim.
Throw there, Jimmy.
Thanks.
Seems to be sliding pretty good. Yeah, it's a 6th end, so should be pretty good right there.
T-line's good, eh?
10, no.
That speed's good, eh?
I heard Rob say it's sliding pretty good. It's the 6th end. I wonder if Allen had that information when he threw it a little deep. You tend to forget if you've never been here before. In the case of Allen,
pretty good, eh?
you know, that could be something new. And costly mistake a little deep there.
Just
And
a little
Rob's got
more.
a tough one.
The last time he did play down this way, it did not curl enough. I still think it was a bit of release, a little in
Just
out.
a little quicker, eh?
But it's definitely, if you're at all wide, it will not come back in this spot.
Wait only. Put it on the T-line, guys.
Rob Fowler in his first.
All right, guys, put it on the T-line.
Trying to get some momentum back here after taking that early 3-0 lead.
Go. Line's good. Get it to the T-line. Hard, Richard. Go.
Samagalski, big scrub.
Keep it going.
Big scrub, got to get by the stone top edge of the pour. And they won't. It'll just nestle up almost beside.
There, and
That'd be
short.
nice.
I think you can leave him a triple. I think
Newfoundland
you
and
leave him
Labrador
inside.
and Brad Gouchou have looked very impressive. They cracked a 4 in the 4th. They stole 2 in 5. And now Nova Scotia down by 4. Final stone on the way from Jamie Murphy out of Halifax. Looking to make the double. I'm not sure if he can actually sit there. If he bangs it right on the nose, score 2.
I think so, Vic. Just dead on, really.
And there it is. There they go. And is it 2 from overhead? It looks like it is. 2 for Nova Scotia. And a 7-5 lead for Newfoundland, Labrador, and Gouchou.
Slides real nice down here, Jim.
Well, the drama continues. That one coming up short. Manitoba's had their opportunities this end. They could not put the draws in the right spot.
They the same weight there. Keep rooms on it.
Top 8, top 4. Line's good.
Now this is the
Line should be
spot
good,
where
guys.
Cotter made
Top
the
4.
White top 4.
nice draw back and 4,
I
right?
should know this absolutely perfect. I expect them to be very close.
There.
Needs to get that little finished if they can.
Whoa.
Yep.
No.
Oh, how good is that?
Well, that's a welcome back. I won't even finish it. It's too easy.
It was. You notice we didn't use it. I was proud of you. Day 3 and you hadn't touched it.
Interesting to see what this does.
Yeah, we talked about the more curl. We watched the broom for Jim Cotter's was virtually edge of the 8. Now you're about 6-8 inches wider. They figured out there's a little more curl here. That might not even be enough. And chances are, Linda, they haven't played the spot for quite a while. It has to be a little slower.
Yeah, that's probably a good number.
Pretty close, eh? Yeah. T-line draw.
Yeah, huge guess. They're talking about the speed at the hack end. You hate to be guessing in this situation. Tough looking house to be facing.
Pretty strong. That's solid.
Eli. Yep. Hard line.
Good little curl here.
Hard line.
Final stone.
Hard line.
And a tough shot here for Rob Fowler. Oh boy. Disastrous shot. And there they are, 3 around the edge of the 4-foot. British Columbia. The wheels have come off here for Manitoba. It's all new next year. The Dominion All-Star Curling Skins game. And it's a brand new qualifying format, and you will determine who will play. You'll vote for your favorite Canadian curlers by position at tsn.ca. Then the top 4 skips will select the remaining 12 players. Random draw. You'll see that January the 17th. So go to tsn.ca/skinsgame for more details. And the voting should happen in and around November or December of this year. We're in Saskatoon. That's the weather now. But later, well, heavy snow warning. 15 to 20 centimeters beginning tonight before it ends midday on Tuesday. Manitoba might feel like they're being snowed under here. They have given up 5 steel points, including 3 in that last end. BC, after trailing 3-0, now lead 6-3. And once again, Manitoba will have the last rock, playing the Red Stones here in set.
Clean, more line, just clean. Easy, easy.
Well, it's almost like the Brier starting again, because our information coming in about the numbers and Alan Liburn playing so well, and he is really struggling, and it's filtered down to Rob, who seems to be having trouble figuring out the ice as well.
He definitely didn't figure the ice out right there. That's a common problem, or common situation in arena ices, that when you haven't played on one side for a while, and we knew it had a little more curl, not only did Rob have to take a lot more ice on that shot, but it had to pump the weight up, and he wasn't even close. And they were fooled by playing on the quick, straighter side.
Now you saw that Derek Samagalski is a grounds crew worker. Well, he works at Larders Golf Club, and Larders back in the day is where Vic Peters used to work. But the assistant pro there is B.J. Neufeld. And B.J. Neufeld, of course, plays for Mike McEwen.
Mike McEwen.
So I'm surprised he still has a job. Because when you think about it,
he beat him.
He beat him in
That's not a good career move,
in the Manitoba final to get here.
What was he thinking?
Well, I don't understand. I would have thought. Yeah, so there you go. Samagalski beats the assistant pro Neufeld to get here, and he's still working at Larders. But yeah, back in the day, I think Vic Peters, if I remember correctly, he was the head groundskeeper there, I believe.
That's right, for sure.
What do you want it, Rob? Just here. Bring it down a little tighter. Yep. 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 That's good.
Alberta looking to go to 4-0, and if they've made it difficult on PEI, and Mike Goody out of Charlottetown, they play here in 6.
Whoa! Yep! Whoa!
And he's going to flash the shot. Stone just trying to chip it enough. Hold the shooter for a possible deuce. Steal one more. Alberta and Kevin Cooey.
Clean.
Line's
good.
Line's
Clean.
good.
Corner guards
Right
are
to it.
gone. They're
Line's
being
good.
peeled
Yep,
off
there.
by BC. So
Hard.
changing the
Line's good.
move
Line's
to
good.
come
Just
into
do
the
it.
other
Right
side.
there.
Just do it.
Line's, yep.
Yep. Yep.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Just
whoa,
line it.
whoa, whoa,
Seven,
whoa,
seven,
whoa,
seven.
whoa. Yep, yep, yep. Whoa.
Beauty. Good shot.
BC is sitting 2, so
There's no jam,
now a
eh?
decision by
Maybe slash
Jim.
the corner in or no?
Rip the corner.
Or 1-2.
Well, is it worth maybe ripping it into the pile? I don't think there's a jam, is there? I don't like that.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Is it worth maybe ripping the corner into the pile? Is there a jam possible?
Like that?
Go up inside for third shot.
I like that side better.
Yeah, I don't like hitting the corner guard in, Linda. It's possible. You could make the red double, but you could certainly jam the raised rock or the red one that's almost frozen, and that doesn't make any sense with the score the way it is.
That was the rookie speaking. And I don't think they listened too long to that suggestion.
That's all right. You never know. You could have my job soon if it is. What's
Back 4.
I said to you before, when BC struggled early, we knew it was Jim, and he's found his game. Obviously, he made a couple of wonderful draws in 4 and 5, and the result of the steal. What's happened to Manitoba? Why has it gone so badly?
Well, I think it's really Allen more than anything. Allen's missed a couple of key shots and missed them the wrong way. That last end, Rob was in a little bit of trouble, not a lot. Asked for an aggressive draw, and he missed it the wrong way deep. That allowed BC to sink one. Then Rob complicated it by missing both of his shots. But it's just plain execution. And I think you see it a lot. You get down 3-0 or up 3-0, and it happens so easily. Jim Cotter handed him 3 points. And I sometimes think you put the brain in neutral and you let down a little bit off the gas pedal, and these teams are too good to do that.
But I said starting this game that I thought Rob Fowler had a pretty good handle on the ice, that the loss in the first game was nerves. And I thought maybe he had the edge in that category. And in this game, Rob Fowler has struggled with picking up the spots.
Certainly has.
Whoa. Whoa. Clean. Whoa, whoa.
Boy.
Nice shot, Kev.
Needed a little
held
thinner.
on. Pretty held on.
Looks like BC's sitting just the 1 at this stage.
Give you a little bit more.
Yeah.
Try to freeze one on, hope for a rollout, and then you can hit that eventually and sit 2.
A little more.
6, 7,
Whoa, whoa,
7.
whoa, whoa.
Let it go over that line.
8, maybe.
Let it get over the
Bumping
line.
an inch.
Let it
Line's
cross the
good.
line.
Pretty good.
Bumping an inch.
Whoa, it's bumping and 2 inches.
Whoa,
Whoa.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's got a curl, guys.
Whoa,
Got a curl. Stay with it.
9.
Close.
There. Wait
Yep,
there.
yep,
Wait there.
yep,
It's tapping.
yep.
It's tapping.
Hard!
It's tapping. Good.
The reason they swept that, they loved to have frozen, but they were losing line, so they tried to keep sweeping it to keep that line a little better. It's more important to be in front of it.
Stay in here is nice, right? Yeah.
It does give Jim a chance to hit and sit 2.
Like that, or you want to left?
How well do you know the spot? Do this.
I think that was kind of a
7/8 early.
interesting little question. The question was, how well do you know the spot in trying to judge the ice and weight? And I think for Rob Fowler in particular, the answer would be the same as what Jim gave his third, and that was just a funny face. Because I don't think either of them feel that good about putting down the broom and knowing what weight to play.
That's why you see a lot of these skips hang on for so long. You know, Kevin Martin, Jeff Stoughton, Glenn. Their skills might not improve, but if you can get that broom in the right spot, you can win a lot of games.
Good shot. Such throw.
You know, we said the same thing. I believe we did in Red Deer at Scotties. No point in time. And yes, Linda, the ice does change, and you said that. But doesn't it surprise you that they're struggling with the ice here on day 3?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do. In fairness, I think it's a wee bit trickier in spots. It's we noticed with Rob's 2 draws, it was much slower on one side than the other. But these are the best in the world. They've thrown a lot of rocks here, and you can't blame every shot on the ice maker.
We have to wait on it, like it'll curl.
Yeah, I think it is a surprise. And as I say, you can see mistakes made. We see mistakes in every sport at times, but it seems so dramatic today, the kind of misses we're seeing. And we are actually, in some cases, predicting that the mistake is going to happen before they throw. So it's not like the information perhaps isn't known to them. If we know it, they should know it.
Really important to hit it on the nose.
Yeah, it's still for line. Just line it up.
I think the other part that's always so interesting is lack of confidence in ice and stones translates so quickly to the athlete, so dramatically to the throw. You don't trust, you don't throw it well.
11.
I don't think that much.
10. Hard.
9,
Yep.
10.
Hard. Hard, guys. Hard. Hard.
Wants to hit right on the nose and just get rid of the yellow backing, the BC backing.
It is just going.
Okay, well.
Ended up a little light, eh?
Really?
Yeah.
Your weight was 10, Robbie.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Just a little quiet, probably when it got down here, eh? A little quiet.
Probably close to being the right weight.
You could have taken just a little more ice then.
You need more ice.
They are confused, though. There's no question about it. And that's, we talk about that all the time. You can take the best curler in the world and turn him into a 10% curler if you get that broom in the right spot.
But just take it back one. Jim Cotter wasn't sure about the ice. Could have played a quiet hit on his first. Hit and rolled over to sit 2. Instead, he made that funny face. I don't know what it's doing. He picked it out and waited for the mistake of the opponent. That's actually pretty smart. If you're seeing mistakes from the opposition member, maybe simplify your shots a little bit. And here's a chance to sit 2 for Jim.
Looking in on Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and Labrador. Nova Scotia picked up a couple in 6. Yellowstone at the back of the 4-foot. That belongs to Brad Gouju from the Ballyhaley in St. John's, and so he'll have a chance here to pick up a couple.
Vic Jamie Murphy just papered a guard, just redirected enough to miss, or he would have been sitting 4 here, making Brad's shot a lot tougher.
Good job, guys. Very nice, Jimmy.
Meanwhile, Jim Cotter just
looks heavy.
Splits the rings.
Yeah, line's fine. Just sweep. Whoa, you're out to the back.
For 2 more, Newfoundland and Labrador. Gouju looking to win his first.
Oh. No, I thought he was hitting. I was like, you can't even get 2.
It's T-line, guys. 305 here, do you think?
Yep.
Your team needs you on this one. All the momentum is on BC's side. Mistakes still coming from Alan Liburn and Rob Fowler's first. You have to get your team back in the game. A draw against 2.
Full 8-foot. Full in the white. Remember on the steal of 3, he came up so light. The question has to be, question marks have to be in his mind, but he'll find the 4-foot. Nicely done. by Rob Fowler and the team from Brandon. They'll pick up a single. BC has the lead, and they'll have the hammer back. The MLS on TSN returns for another season, and it begins with an all-Canadian matchup. It's the Vancouver Whitecaps against the Montreal Impact, the newest Canadian team. Live coverage begins Saturday, 6 Eastern, on TSN and TSN Mobile TV. The MLS on TSN. The TSN eye is on everything here at the Tim Hortons Brier in Saskatoon. Manitoba gets their point, and now it is BC once again with the last rock. They have the lead, the 2-point lead, 6-4. BC throwing the Yellowstones. They'll have the hammer here in 8.
It's been a while since BC's had the last rock. I said at the beginning it was important for BC to establish the game with hammer. They haven't had a lot of chance in this game, but I still maintain that relying on steals is not the way to win a Brier. You do have to generate extra points with a hammer. It's a little different now with a 2-point edge, but somehow they have to make sure they have a way to score here.
Yeah, that's the 2 up with the hammer in an even and 8th end. All you want to do is score a single here. That would be huge. You give up the deuce and 9, you're still 1 up with the hammer. A great opportunity to win this game.
It's a little less. 3-4, 4.
Line's good. Yeah, you can't hurt it. Did it work? Just top 12, guys.
Whoa, you're all here.
Whoa. Off. Off. Never.
Okay, not bad.
It's what?
What's those lights we thought? I don't mind.
Try and throw top button. Even T-line,
1, 2,
Richard.
and 3. Alberta Stones in the house, and that's what's facing PEI's Mike Goody out of Charlottetown. Trying to win his first, while Alberta is trying to win 4 in a row to start this year's Tim Hortons Brier.
Whoa.
And PEI will pick up the single. That's the first point for PEI since they stole one in the opening end. Now 5-2 Alberta.
Good.
Great tie.
So this is the point we were making about ensuring you score. Here comes the peel.
Oh, it's got something underneath it.
Yep.
It's got something underneath of it. Go.
Yep. Hurt. Clean. Good sweep.
Let's clean that path.
Ran over something there. They'll have to clean it up here. Ty could feel it. It's amazing how you can feel something so small underneath 40 pounds of granite, but it didn't affect the rock, thank goodness.
And then good enough as well to say to the Manitoba guys, just clean that path.
Everybody does that. It's amazing. It really is, isn't it? It's, the sportsmanship in this sport is wonderful.
Rather than saying, oh, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing there. Nothing to see here. Move on.
Switch and go a bit.
Unlike Vince, just go out and shake that pant leg a little bit. Maybe get a little more lint out there and see what you can do.
Good shot, Rich.
There wouldn't be any money falling out of that pant leg, I'll tell you.
Whoa. Whoa.
Didn't take him long to get into that one.
No.
Clean. Just clean.
You know?
You're hard on Linda in the opening, Vic.
Yeah,
they're just sticking up for
Teamwork
her.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Halfway.
Rob likes the situation in the house, the Redstones, and continues to guard that position, even though the BC Rockies shot stone.
Whoa, guys. Whoa, it's heavy.
Closer to 3.
Just need a 2.
It's coming down.
Okay.
Interesting
You're gonna have to
grip
switch
from
on this one.
Alan Liburn. I mean that I can't speak to it, but it's interesting that he has a hold and then he goes back and just with the fingertips. Everyone has their own idiosyncrasies. I know.
Yeah, the reason we teach a firmer grip is under pressure, sometimes those little unique qualities break down, and that's why we say firmer grip always allows a nice release. But we actually see more people at the top level have those little unique qualities to their deliveries, and the whole thing is if you can repeat it time after time, then it works.
Be careful here. This red could jam, double jam. He's trying to go across the top here.
Kevin Folk.
E.
To leave BC sitting 1, edge of the 4-foot. Folk and Liburn, the focus of our numbers.
Well, you saw a little head shake from Kevin, not happy with that. But coming in, Alan Liburn was number 2. Big drop in his numbers, in particular those draws that have not worked going deep. And Kevin Folk has brought the numbers way up. He was down at number 11 amongst the thirds coming into the game. So a very nice recovery by Kevin.
Players' numbers brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Yep.
Kevin caught in that same side, that straight side, and just a 1/8 of an inch wide, it would not come back.
Yep. Whoa. Rich. Roll it. Hard.
Nice throw.
Northern Ontario has picked up a steal of 1 in the 7th, but it's Terry Odishaw from Moncton continues to lead there with last rock.
Okay. You could play the run back and try to get the top 2, maybe all 3, or you could play the double into. That would work also, but leaving a guard that way, this might be smarter.
Whoa. Okay.
It's day 3 of round robin play. A couple of games this morning. Ontario picked up a win, and Alberta remains top of the table, followed by Nova Scotia, Manitoba, both of them on the ice, of course, and both right now are losing. The team from Yellowknife, that's Jamie Cooey, surprise, 3-1. And then, of course, Newfoundland Labrador looking for their first win, as is PEI, and both on the ice this afternoon. Now, this evening, we're going to do the all-Ontario battle, north against the south. Right now, though, Brad Jacobs is down to Terry Odishaw, New Brunswick. He could very well be 2-2 by the time they hit the ice. At 7:30 Eastern Time, draw 8 with Tim Hortons Brier.
Kevin just missed that double on the high side again and rolled that red one lined up, and now it's dangerous because Manitoba and Robbie Fowler can guard this and with one rock guard both.
Little bit, keep it straight.
You know, they're having a struggle out there, and we hate to be critical, but on those straight run backs, sometimes I think the over ice don't rely on the brushers. The brushers can have a pretty big impact early if they get on those, and I think in that case, they had to make sure they got at least a bigger chunk of that one in the house.
Judging, guys.
He's scared by Rob.
You got to run it, don't you?
Try and dig this one out. If we go off the top, we know this intern's going to curl a mile, right?
So you're thinking like hack kind of wick, bring our other one into play.
Hack the bumper. And he might go there. He's got to put it good, though. Or do we run it? Run it.
Like,
you gotta get one of them.
Just a hair high?
Probably,
Middle.
Could get everything moving here. Just a fraction off center, probably right where the broom is.
Well, Alberta with a 5-2 lead, looking to win 4 in a row. Prince Edward Island is the shot stone right on the pin. But a double here, if you could stick it, possibly pick up 2, maybe 3 for Alberta. Final rock on the way. Kevin Cooey out of the Glencoe in Calgary. And there they go, and it is 3 more, and shakes, and 4 straight wins for the 2010 Canadian and world champion, Kevin Cooey.
Same thing again, Linda. Missed it on the high side, and they just can't seem to figure that spot out. Worst part is it jammed on the back BC rock, and now there's 3 in there.
It feels like it's all or none every end. One team is pretty good, and the other team has all sorts of difficulties.
They do not want the hammer in this game.
He can make the triple.
No.
You'd still count 1.
Timeout.
Timeout being called by Manitoba. Already sitting 3, trying to figure out where to put this fourth
like
one.
if you ever tap this,
Sit here.
you're sitting here, he makes a triple, you're still counting 1. But you got to make a pretty good tap. That's the
Got to
only.
be perfect with the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be perfect for line. That's the only bad part.
Probably the thing that we want to achieve the most here is make him draw on this intern side. Because there's probably. Well, if you make the perfect tap, good. But if I tap it in the open, now he doesn't have to
But if
draw.
you ever
No, I know,
split it
yeah.
open, you give him a straight nose. If we could, I mean, I like the tap, but we've got to make it right. I'd
gotta be
rather see him
perfect.
throw an intern draw to the button. Yeah. So if we came in fairly tight.
Well, that doesn't change a whole lot. We could play the guard tight in a biter and make him draw against 4, and he's got to go. He's got to go intern, which I think that's what we want more than anything is for him to throw the intern draw.
Play the ear tight. No, that's you don't want to overcurl. You don't want to
guard it.
You
got to guard it just right there. I think.
I love that
Let him throw
analogy.
this. If he still wants,
Yes, you'd
not
love to
bad.
tap it up and actually sit 2 rocks closer to the
you don't
button,
want to
but
if you
by
overcurl,
putting
you
one
want
in
to
this area here, you really have no choice if you're BC is to come down this wide side. We talked about this, and Rob knows this better than anybody. There's so much finish here. It's so much slower here. There's a very good chance the draw could be missed, and it'd be a steal of 4.
Oh, trying to cut him, or?
I'm thinking the end.
He's already thinking about it. He just wants to cut him down. He's already thinking ahead. We'll just cut him down.
Well, that was Kevin speaking, and they were then discussing which way you could come at it, because you could, if you're just drawing 8 foot, trying to get second shot, play it either turn. So they were discussing that. If you scouted Jim coming into it, it was his intern that was far superior, but this is based on ice conditions. So they're determining which way they're hoping that Jim draws.
Keep it clean. Yep. Swing for a biter, guys.
So final
Swing for a biter.
stone for
Hard.
Manitoba and
Just
Rob
a biter.
Fowler.
Just a biter.
Here in 8. He's down by 2.
Way out there. Whoa, whoa.
You're in.
On the end. Hard. Whoa, whoa. Okay, curl at the end. Yep. Let's go. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Whoa. That's a good shot.
Try, Rob.
I just want to be chosen. Well, I still
Here we
You
go.
give us that one.
Yeah.
We flash back. That's about 4 or 5 inches more than Rob had 2 ends ago.
3 foot for T-line.
And resulted in the steal, the big steal, right?
Yeah, so
3.
he's taking the extra ice, which helps. But I'm guessing you need another 15 feet of weight here, maybe, Vic. And that's hard to do. It's just hard to throw it that hard. Hard to believe it.
It's going to dive in there. So keep your brooms on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking about a 90 in this spot.
Yeah. Low 90s.
So he's drawing against 4. And to get shot stone, he'll need a good piece of the button. Leading by 2, BC and Jim Cotter. Final rock. You heard him say to the front end, Griffith and Sawatsky, keep the brushes down. It should dive in there.
T-line.
T-line. Yep.
Heads up, having a look. Sawatsky, Griffith, need the white. Going to bust in for him, needs to bust in. And it won't get there. He'll cut him down. Steal 1. Manitoba, now it's a 1-point game going to 9. We also have a final over on sheet A. And it'll be a win for New Brunswick. Make the final 8-3 as Terry Odeshot of Moncton hands Northern Ontario and Brad Jacobs a second loss. Time now for the M&M Meat Shop's Final End Challenge. Right after the game, go to finalend.ca. You enter the secret word that we'll give you a little later, and you have a chance to win a trip for two to see the 2013 World Junior Curling Championship in Sochi, Russia. The first 100 entries will have a chance to win a $50 M&M gift card, and all participants will get an M&M discount. The M&M Meat Shop's Final End Challenge secret word is coming up. Well, you're facing 4 on some pretty tricky ice. You give up a steal of 1, and it's a key shot.
Well, you may wonder, we've had so many mistakes in this game. Some people may think this is a mistake, but Jim Cotter has to draw in a very difficult spot. And they said sweep for T-line. That means they were not aiming for the button. They knew they would not get shot, but this is a big shot. Considering the momentum they had, they couldn't give up many more points, and it's just a steal of 1. Very nice draw.
It has been a peculiar game, to say the very least. After that quick start by Manitoba to lead 3-0, then fall behind 6-3, and now they've come back with a couple of points. And the last steal now makes it a 1-point game, 6-5.
Shot.
BC. And once again, the team from the Vernon and Kelowna curling clubs, skipped by Jim Cotter,
See any of that?
will have the last rock playing the Yellowstones.
Just touch it, what?
We were just saying in the break, Vic, there's been 4 points scored all game with Hammer, and there's been 7 scored against Hammer with steal points, which is incredibly unusual.
Freeze isn't terrible. T-line.
A couple of feet heavier.
Nice come-arounds on that first center guard played by Manitoba.
Should be 7-8.
Whoa. Yep, you can go now. Yep.
Hard.
Coming down. Coming down.
Hard.
Get it by. Get it by. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, that's fine. That's good. That's good. Just
That really came down.
Yeah, just heavier. Right? Good throw, Rich.
The slow side against the boards. Just fooled them again.
Some days you have to disengage the brain because it keeps telling you the things that you've been thinking about for 2 days with the ice. And suddenly things are different, and it wants to make you go back to what you were doing before, and you have to stop that and just trust, believe the weight, and throw. Now, we often have the discussion at this stage of the game. It's the 9th end. The score is close as to how you maneuver to make sure you have the hammer coming home. But maybe you don't want it.
Lay down on it.
In this game, you certainly don't want it.
Maybe this is a different plan.
Looks like it's coming right to it, eh?
It's not there, Rob. It's not there. It's not there.
Okay,
Just 3.
Okay. Yep, a little bit. Yep.
Actually, we've been talking about mistakes, but the front ends have not been making that many mistakes. They've actually had some rocks in a very nice spot, and their numbers are good.
Updating you on Nova Scotia and Newfoundland Labrador. Boy, that 4, that was big for Brad Gushue, wasn't it? Then the steal of 2. They blanked in 8. It's 9-5. Newfoundland Labrador leading.
Throws.
As Brad Gushue looks to try and win his first. Nova Scotia and Jamie Murphy from Halifax, he comes in with a record of 3-1.
Okay. Is it a 4 still?
Oh, it's just a 3.
You sure?
I think so.
We'll go right to the nose.
No,
Freeze.
we're not there, Rob. We're not there, Rob. We're not there, Rob.
Okay.
Just 3.
Okay. Yep, a little bit. Good judging, guys.
Okay.
Jim Cotter just content to peel this off.
It's one of those games where you're trying not to make a shot for the opposition. It feels like there's been so many mistakes. If you try to play some run back or some more difficult shot, I think they feel like they're going to set it up for the opposition. So make, in this case, Manitoba make the play.
You have to do something here soon because that red one's on such a bad angle. The one at the top of the 8-foot, it could disappear.
I think it's too early to do that. Everything would be dragging. This one would be gone. I don't think that one's going to go very far. It's just right now, I guess we maybe have a come around later.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. What if we ever get right back to here?
Yeah, as long as we don't leave it there, we'd have to get back to here.
Back button.
Or do we come down and try and tap this back there?
As long as we don't jiggle out.
And get our shooter. Well, throw back line and split it. Roll here, and put this one back into here, and maybe give ourselves some backing.
I personally kind of like this.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of like, but whatever you guys like.
One of the, I guess, the challenge with this is it is a little bit hard to get the speed on this side, right?
Yep.
This rock's going to be a pretty good rock for him the whole end, right?
It is, but if you're back button, it's not that good anymore.
Well, back button half buried is not great.
Well, no,
the way it should come in there, it should be.
No matter what, we got to make a shot.
Now, if we played that and happened to.
It's not so good.
That's not great then either, eh? Because you make the double, it'll be 3-on-1. Yeah. What do you think, Alan?
I think back
Want to go back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really aggressive call now, trying to scoreboard dictated. I'm sure one down without. They'd like to force the issue, at least stop a blank attempt is one of the problems. All these rocks could fly. It's pretty early in the end yet, but trying to get one in behind the button and hope there's no angle raise on that shot yellow rock for BC.
So that was 3 by itself.
It's a small piece of real estate.
That was 3, yeah.
Seven. Whoa. 8. Flying.
Weight's good.
Flying.
Should be quick in this spot.
Weight's good.
Got room.
8.
Whoa then. Yep. Whoa.
Still 8.
Yep.
8.
8 would be back 4.
Gotta get it by.
Nope, just a little rub and roll will straighten it out. And it does stop. Back edge of the 4. And another final and a first win for Newfoundland and Labrador and Brad Gouju make the final 10-5 over Nova Scotia and Jamie Murphy. And the Blue Nosers now, who started off with 3 straight wins, have dropped 2 in a row. They're 3-2. And Gouju is now 1-3.
Like that.
Leaving them the head and roll, right?
Am I going in? So like bumper or something?
Yeah, roll to here.
House.
Okay, house.
Hit and roll? Yeah.
You could hit the top red really hard, and you'd lose both your reds and the shot rock yellow. Would only leave 2 rocks in the rings and maybe an opportunity to blank this end. That would be the best option, but Jim Cotter's got a chance to sit 2 here, and why not? He can maybe score the deuce.
Remember, it would be only his second of the Brier.
Yep. Hard. Whoa. Hard. Whoa. Yes. Whoa.
Oh, and he got the flip too.
Beautiful shot.
To sit 2. BC with last rock.
It's pretty dramatic, the turnaround for Kevin, too. We were talking about Jim within this game, but the fact that Kevin came in as a player who was struggling and they'd moved the strategy around a little bit because of that. And it has definitely been Kevin Folk, the superior third in this game.
So we've got the out turn.
Same draw he threw at 7, eh?
5.
Yeah.
This is really tough. Allen was quite close, so they have a good idea of the path here.
Put it on the tee.
Tough to be shot rock.
Ready to play Skip Stones here in this ninth. Rob Fowler.
7, 8, 7. Sweep for T line. Line's
Wait
good.
on it. Yep.
Just for line.
Okay.
Just line.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You got room.
good.
Whoa, guys. Whoa. You got room. Whoa. Switch. Whoa, guys.
T line. Hard.
Hard, guys.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yep. Hard.
Trying to get a little bite of that white.
Oh, what a wonderful draw.
Good brush, guys.
Spectacular shot.
Full credit to Samagalski and Dano.
Well, it's taken a while, but I guess Rob is feeling at least now he's got that spot figured out. Here comes Rick Folk, the coach, to talk to BC.
Half. Probably spill it off their own.
Would you be hitting rope from there?
Yeah, it'll
Might
spill. It'll spill. You've got to catch it thicker.
We've got this shot. We can try and blast that off ours, or we blast that. Our 4 probably stays somewhere in here, though. We lose both the reds.
Why wouldn't you play the yellow one? What if you rack it?
Yeah,
It's
you
not
rack,
the
you
end of
open
the
it up.
wall, eh?
Play a bit of weight at it.
Yeah.
Play big. Get that in. If you get this, that's fine.
What kind of weight you gonna throw?
We can throw.
Well, regular there is going to...
We
want
throw-
to net that and leave him that?
Yeah.
I would think regular.
I like
weight.
regular
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah, we don't need... No, we don't
It'd be
need
nice to
cannon.
control with
Yeah, this-
regular weight, I think, right?
I was going to say originally house, but
You need about a
one.
I think
quarter.
regular would be easy to control.
Yeah.
yeah,
about
if we
a
catch
quarter.
that there. And
Because what you can do off that too, Kevin, is you can catch it too thin and it'll spin off that red one it's frozen to, right? Like you could see what I mean, Jim? You
that's real thin, but
Yeah.
we'll probably be playing it tighter to this, right? It might be an option, though.
We need a little less than a quarter, though,
Yeah,
right?
if we hit it just kind of just on that side
Or
of the
we're
tree.
spilling it and we're leaving them that.
Yeah.
That nutted, I think.
Thinking
Regular?
that regular weight.
Yeah.
You like the call, Russ?
Yeah, I do. I think Rick's
Yeah, almost can't
smart.
catch it
Just
too thin.
instead of playing with the top ones, things can go wrong. This is not
Regular?
a simple shot, but hit
If it really
part of
comes up,
this is
then
going to
we'll get off
redirect
and
for
try and get
sure in
some
the right
movement on
direction.
those.
Red one's gone. The problem is where this yellow one's going to be left. There might be a pretty easy tap back with the red rock here, moving the yellow back a little bit, setting up a little bit of a pocket here.
Regular weight?
That's
Regular,
the only
yeah.
danger. But yeah, I think at this point you have to become shot rock, and this is the easiest way to do it. Hit any part of this yellow one, it directs on there, and you're probably sitting too buried. Just depends on where that yellow stops.
It was a good conversation with Rick. We always listen for all the information. Shot first, how to play it second, and obviously Rob very keen on how these rocks are going to roll around.
Jim Cotter.
Rag.
And his first.
Yep.
He's going to throw it to the brushers, and they'll pick him up. Griffith, Sawatsky. Want to angle the yellow back. Now, a couple of late strokes, and there it goes.
Nicely done. They hit it thick enough that the yellow actually spun towards the center, and that changes this angle dramatically.
Shot, Jim.
Thanks.
Didn't think they hit it that
little
thick.
thicker, a little
Instead of
thicker.
that staying there. See, it rolls just a little bit.
A little thicker, we might have spun it a touch more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Good shot.
hard to tell how they're going to spin off, right?
Yeah.
There's more.
Yeah, just hope that this one comes off enough, eh?
You run the risk if you catch it.
The two should drag somewhat back in.
We got to throw some weight and hit it on this side. Get them all dragging and hope that this one comes off. I don't think I can save my shooter as a guard, but the 3 should stay pretty close there, eh?
Yeah.
This natural angle of the yellow-red goes here, and that forces the Manitoba Red Rock that way. But because of that drag effect, what Rob
Nice weight.
Fowler
There's
will
not gonna
do,
be a lot
he'll hit it
of-
on this side, trying to drag this rock over. And because they're so close together, it will want to move this red one over a little bit. And instead of coming that way,
Hair thicker. Probably just a hair thicker.
the red one might come this way. And if he can move the yellow far enough, he could sit shot rock buried here.
Hope that the one on the
He's going to hit about half a rock with a lot of weight and try to drag that red to the
Maybe
left
we
side
should
of our
try and get
screen.
in just a little thicker than 2/3. hit it just off the center line. Should get some drag going. It's not going to go very far then, right?
I'd rather get a little thicker.
Yeah, I think so.
What do you think here now?
Yeah, that's going to give us more momentum too.
As we know, it's a little more difficult with the third stone, a little more difficult with a little separation between the first and second stones that you're hitting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if it was only 2 stones, Linda Frozen, you could make this easy, but with that third stone, it's much tougher. The other problem is the top yellow should stay, and the one of the yellows at the back will stay. It depends on where the red's going to be. Will it be exposed?
Right now it is BC sitting 2 around the 4-foot final stone. For Manitoba and Rob Fowler here in 9. Half a rock. Thick. Drag it back. Oh, he's going to spill them too far. And it will be right now 1 and 2. BC is sitting 2.
Great, Linda, with that third rock. It just didn't drag at all. You either had to hit it thinner or throw it even harder.
Unfortunately, the drag you want to look at is the second and third stones, and because you're hitting that yellow one at an angle based on the first one, it really complicates the situation.
Hit it pretty thick too, and then that is disaster for Manitoba.
He's further out than your draw, Rick. Okay. So I think it'll be good out here. Yeah, I think it should slide good.
Say low 90s still,
a little bit separation on the top there too.
Yeah.
Those that tuned away after the second end when Jim Cotter was curling 13%, they won't believe the score that's about to go up.
This is a draw for 3 and possibly shakes. Leading by 1, 6-5. Griffith, Sawatsky. Kevin Folk calling line.
Clean.
Trying to put 3 on the board here in 9.
The swap man. Double Merv.
And there it is, 3 and handshakes. And a win for British Columbia. Make the final 9-5 as BC has won 2 in a row, improving their record to 2-2. Manitoba, after winning 3 straight, now dropped to 3-2. So Alberta, with their win over Prince Edward Island, still stay top of the table with 4 straight wins. You've got the team from Whitehorse, the Cooey brothers, looking very good. Ontario at 3-1. Manitoba drops to 2 losses with a bunch, and we now have only 1 winless team, Prince Edward Island, 0-5.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Roll Up the Rim to Win. It's time for Tim's. The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by World Financial Group, proud to be a sponsor of the Season of Champions. Your dreams, our strategies. By Scotties, proud supporter of women's curling for over 30 years. And by Capital One, what's in your wallet?
It's time now for the M&M Meat Shop's Final End Challenge, and the secret word is M&M. So right now, go to finalend.ca, enter the secret word M&M for a chance to win a trip for 2 to see the 2013 World Junior Curling Championship in Sochi, Russia. Well, they started well, Linda, but the story was the comeback by BC.
It was one of the biggest turnarounds we've seen, because in the first 2 ends, it really was BC with some control. Jim Cotter missed his first 4, gave away the 3 points, and then the turnaround. Draw weight came back, the angles came back, and it was all those steals. Jim Cotter rising to 75%, and a big win for British Columbia.
The game story is brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, 1 aisle. Quite a turnaround, and now BC are 2-2, Manitoba 3-2. British Columbia started the week losing their first 2. They've now won 2 in a row with a 9-5 win over Manitoba, and coming back after trailing 3-0. Jim Cotter talked about momentum, Brian.
Jim, at one point, you were down by 3. You come back. I think you stole 5 points over a couple ends. Tell me about that wild game.
Just stick with the program. Yeah, it was definitely one of those crazy games. You knew that we were going to get our opportunities, and you know what? The guys held strong. We all held strong and just battled back and put some points on the board.
Kevin, obviously a big part of your team as well. You guys both really responded down the stretch. Is that what you guys need going forward, those strong back end of games?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's something to build on. You know, feel like we're getting stronger and stronger each game, and yeah, something to build on for sure.
What has Rick meant to this team as your coach?
Rick's been fabulous. You know, we've had an opportunity this year to work with him, where last year was kind of late when he had come into the team, and this year, you know, I've learned a ton from him. You know, he's just a calming influence, and I just can't say enough about him.
Jim, thanks for your time, and best of luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Ontario, north against the south. When we see you again at 7:30 Eastern Time, it'll be Glenn Howard at 3-1. Admits he hasn't played very well, and you've got Brad Jacobs in Northern Ontario from Sault Ste. Marie coming off an 8-3 loss to New Brunswick. 7:30 Eastern when we continue with our coverage of the Tim Hortons Brier from here in Saskatoon on Canada's sports leader, TSN.